Hello, good people. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so looks like we are already live. Oh, give me 1 second. All right, everybody. Welcome.
Okay, you good, Gigi.
Right, okay, thank you. Hold on.
Hey, good people. Welcome in. Well, Gigi, you're good to go. I was telling you
All
to mute your
right.
mic because
Yeah.
the song was going. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I did. All right. Well, welcome in, everybody. Thank y'all for joining us again for another episode and recap and review of Ready to Love. This is your girl, Gigi Nan. We have Braylon Lee and we have our boy Q. Ucha is actually out. She had to have another surgery, so we are hoping that she heals up nicely and she is sitting
Amen.
back behind the scenes today. So y'all, let's go
Amen.
ahead and get
Amen.
started. We're going to go ahead and start off with um,
Let me say one thing right
first
quick.
off,
Just
somebody might need to be muted.
I think you wanted to say something real quick. I think.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Q, because I was actually going to get everybody's viewpoint on the show overall, and then we'll dive into the scene. So go ahead.
I was just saying speedy recovery to Solana. That's it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, so what did y'all think of um, this episode? Like, how did you, Lamar? It's just a whole lot to say, but overall, what did you guys take?
I thought that this, mm, nephew Tommy said that he usually doesn't do intimacy early in the show. And I'm glad that he recognized that, and I'm glad that the others recognized it was a little too early. But I do think that this was kind of a smart decision, um, to do intimacy early off the bat, just so that way it can weed out who is there for love and who's not there for love. The most interesting thing about this show is even though the format is the same 10 men, 10 women, what makes it different is the moves that are made and the curveballs that are thrown. And I got a feeling that this is not going to be the biggest episode of the season because y'all remember in the previous season of Ray of Love, um, that that combative energy was toward the end of the season, not in the fourth episode. So, but overall, it was decent for what it was.
Okay, Q, what do you think?
I'm kind of glad he did what he did. It's pretty interesting. My point of view, really, it's kind of. I'm glad he did that earlier this time. So you can kind of weed folk out early and see people intentions early, and to see people in a very vulnerable space early. You know what I'm saying? To see people in their actual element. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode, even though it had its crazy parts to it.
Yeah, I personally feel that when it comes to, because Braylon, we was talking about this, when it comes to the show, as the way that Lamar is, I feel like he is definitely like a liability. Like you're coming on too strong
Absolutely.
and you've had 4 episodes and you're still doing the same thing. You're being the same type of way. There's no other substance to you. We've talked about this in other episodes as well. You have to have more substance to yourself than just, either the physical appearance or thinking everything is all about sex. And that's what it is with him. And I didn't like how it, honestly, as a woman, it rubbed me the wrong way. And that really, I didn't like the episode. And people can say, oh, well, he was just being him. He's just, okay, if that's all there is to him, this isn't his show.
No, I agree with that. And this is the thing too, right? With our panel, we are very diverse in terms of all our personalities. Q is the father of the group. He's the homeboy. I'm kind of the nephew of the group. I say what needs to be said, but also I have some deep moments. Gigi is the homegirl. Then Solana brings in cultural and that psychology and sociology point of view. So even though we kid and joke and we go there with each other, there's enough diversity in all of us that you can take in all of us, if that makes sense. I know that was a long way to get to a destination, but that's what did happen with Lamar. Now if I went on the show, everybody knows what I like, right? Everybody knows I like him thick. If it ain't thick, it ain't right. Same thing with Q with Sanaa Lathan, right? Me and Q both know that if our choices were on the show, we would have to do more than just talk about their movies and all that type of stuff. We would have to get to the soul of who they are. Because I like to eat and take in and be drenched in the noir part. But if I can't be drenched in her mind, then she's not going to want to take me into her world. So.
Yeah, but still, I just feel like it was, my dog's about to go crazy. Sorry. But I still feel like there should have been more substance. But let's go ahead and get into it. So we start out the episode with the women in the ladies' lounge with Tommy for the first time. Okay, he begins with the rules, let them know that what happens in the lounge stays in the lounge. And basically what they need to expect in the upcoming weeks, which is in the week which he wants them to show intimacy. And he's not talking about that physical intimacy. He's talking about, like I said, getting to know them, in the place where you work, whether it's your house, letting them kind of in your personal space to get to know you, that kind of intimacy. And he also introduced a new guy because in the very beginning, we know there was supposed to be Glenn. Glenn couldn't get out the car, so he didn't make it. So Tommy, to me, I feel like that was a curveball because, even though we've seen it previously, but I wasn't expecting him to show him in the ladies' lounge. Normally, he kind of pops up with the guys or whatever. So he brings in this new guy, Justin, and the ladies are, let me tell you, when heads rolled, necks popped, backs arched, it was a lot. So Justin is this 34-year-old PE teacher from Mississippi, but he's living in the Dallas area now. So what did y'all think about, let's just start off with the ladies' lounge and the arrival of this new guy?
Absolutely. I think Q might want to say something about Lamar, I think, before we did the ladies' lounge or...
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Listen, there's plenty that is going to be said about Lamar, so there is no problem at any time to say something. But yeah, go ahead.
Q, you there?
Well, stepped away from when he comes back in.
Yeah. And I wasn't trying to throw that off because I know when you asked us about Lamar, I think he wanted to go next, but then we went to the ladies' lounge. But on this topic of the ladies' lounge, I will say that I think it seems like this show is going to be the season of unpredictability, right? Normally everybody shows up, and there's a way to bring in a new person, and usually there is a date that happens that somebody gets to meet the new guy, or there's a group activity. But I think when it came to the intimacy exercise for the week, I think that Justin showed up at the right time in the ladies' lounge because there was a purpose, for that. I think when it came to, I'm trying to think. That scene was at the end. Okay, never mind. I won't talk about that just yet. But I thought the ladies' lounge was decent for what it was. It seemed like everybody, kumbaya, but of course it's kumbaya because it's the first lounge. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Right, because it was not that in the second lounge.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, hell, we got Janelle Habibi energy in this episode.
Off top, and that listen, I said that from the beginning. I said she reminds me of the Tranquilla. Listen, I keep getting this woman's name wrong, and I swear I'm not purposely doing it, but Tranquilla, I think that was her name.
Yes.
Tequila.
Yes.
Okay, Tequila. Listen, she reminds me of her face, attitude, and the way that she went hard like she did, like Tequila did for Habibi. Yeah. I said, oh, damn, deja vu. But anyway, I feel like the ladies' lounge, it was okay. Like I said, I did like the curveball of Tommy bringing in the guy into the lounge so that the ladies could meet him first before he was, just kind of like thrown in with the other guys. Because it kind of stirs up the competition a bit. You know what I'm saying? It kind of gives you, it gives it to where now they know that there's somebody else that they need to focus on, because I don't feel like a lot of them really had good connections until after these days. Like some connections you could see actually flourish after this episode. You was like, oh, okay, I could see something growing. But before, it really wasn't there. But yeah, I feel like he threw a good curveball with, with Justin. Nice looking guy. He's young, no kids. So that was good.
No, absolutely. And you know what? To be honest with you, I feel like that should be a move. That you don't bring in a new person every time through that, but I do think they should add that to their tool belt. Because if I'm in the gentleman's lounge and there's a new lady coming in, that gives us the chance to be like, oh, okay. And not to mention too, it threw off the dudes. So really it was a curveball, but it was a purposeful curveball. So I think they should add that to their tool belt, not to overutilize it, because you don't want, people come on thinking they know the show. Okay, somebody new coming in because somebody left. Okay. But I do think that they should add that tool to their tool belt.
Right. So let's go ahead and move on from there, because it really didn't too much happen, with the lounge. So we go to the first date of, the week, which was basically Alexis. She invited Rashina, Lamar, Will, and William to the gym so they could play some basketball. She had on her referee outfit. She paired them up in teams and, did her thing. She refereed the game like she normally would. That was her showing her intimate side, was inviting them to her work and showing how she lives. Now, so they were playing ball. It was William and Rashina, and then Will and Lamar. And for some reason and somehow, William and Rashina won. Cool. They break off. They go start talking individually. So it was Rashina, Lamar, and William talking. And Rashina brought up the fact that all of her relationships were 3 or longer. She didn't say years. She just said 3 or longer. And for some reason, William's mind was like, oh, threesome. Like, no. She was like, no, 3 years. Lamar, had to let it be known that he was into threesomes.
Yeah. By the way, Q is on backstage.
Okay, yeah. So yeah. So far, what do you think about that? Tell me what you think.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, to tell you the truth, first of all, I like the fact that Alexis knows who she is, and said, "Listen, I'm not going to talk about basketball. I'm going to be about basketball." That was a good way to set herself up, for her to be seen. In addition to that, I think it took pressure off of her, because she didn't have to show off. She can just be. I think that was a very powerful thing. And I think that, Lamar being Lamar, I think that he showed himself. And the most interesting thing is that with this situation, it seems like Lamar's like Kevin Hart. Like he thinks he can bring funniness to every situation, and it's like, no, we need some emotionality here. Um, and I do like what I think it was what William. I think it was William that said, some deep things about what he wants out of his wife. So we did get to see some emotionality on this date. So I think the date was good overall. It's just good damn Lamar. So
Yeah. And working to get Q back up. Actually, Sloana's working the back, even though she can't be here right now. So she actually is in the hospital. So we'll just have to give her a little moment real quick. But yeah, so I just feel like, I feel like that too. Like with Lamar, there's no substance besides sex with him because I don't feel like he truly knows what real intimacy is or what it is to be a real partner. That's why I
correct.
feel like he got offended when he was asked by April, about how long his relationships last, because I don't feel like he's really had a real relationship. Like he doesn't understand what that is. And maybe this is something that he's hiding behind because there are men who hide behind sex or, they become over promiscuous just because they want to make up for the fact of either being, dissed when they were younger. Basically, you know what I'm saying? People they wasn't attractive to people, so they wasn't getting to, you know what I'm saying, feel like
Right.
people wanted them. So now he's overcompensating right now and he has to make up for it. So that's the only thing that he knows how to do and that's how he wants. But and that makes it to where like right now I don't feel like this process is for him. And this is the start, well not even the start, but this is the start of the episode where you see what Lamar truly is about. This is how you can tell that he has no substance to him because he was around more than one woman, and that is all he has talked about. What
Right.
do we know about Lamar?
Nothing.
You know, and William. So even when with them talking, William asked the question. So you have two guys here. Who are you choosing? And Rashana
Hmm.
said, neither of you. She doesn't feel a connection with Will. She definitely doesn't feel a connection with Lamar. So, she flat out said, neither of you. Honestly, I feel like that's the most honest that anybody's been.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And to be honest with you, I feel um in that situation, it's still early, right? Um, how they always say if you're a legend, you don't have to say, you just show it. Um, I think that's the move that should have been made. Um, because yeah, that did seem a little uncomfortable to me. It's like I know that the Lays are in control this week, but the only way that they will use their control for you, um, and not against you, is if you create circumstances for them to care about you.
Right. Yeah. It you definitely have to let them, you know, give more of yourself if you're really wanting to go through this process and find really the best part of you, whether it be someone who's sexual. Find out what else they have first, because after that sex is gone, what else do you have? Just like your looks. If your looks are gone, what else do you have? We need substance. Like there definitely just needs to be a whole lot more than what we saw. So uh, anyway, so we move on to Alexis and William. Listen, Alexis can play ball, okay? Oh,
Yes, she
listen,
can.
she was for her little self, she was balling. Okay, we're gonna give it to her. But Alexis and William, they're just shooting some hoops back and forth, and she asked him a really, really good question, and I've never heard anybody ask this question before. she asked him, um, as of to date, what would he say was his most significant relationship?
Right.
And he said that it was when he was married before, but he says it was for the wrong reason. And you have to give grace and learn from your mistakes, which she agreed with. Um, what did you feel about that question?
I really appreciate what Will said about, you know, for intimacy purposes, that you have to have a relationship with God. Um, I feel the same way. You know what I mean? If you don't have a North Star, how do you know how to travel through that galaxy? Um,
Say that.
and
That's yeah.
I've evolved over that over the years. You know what I mean? Like I said, my friends, they say to me, you always like, big girls and all that type of stuff. I'm like, guys, I want you to know something. Regardless of what I like, if I can't love their soul, I'm not going to be able to do anything to them, with them, or for them. And I think that dating has evolved now from just being able to have a good time to be able to give the energy to have a good time. Because we all have a good time up here, but is the energy good enough to be able to give that, for this experience to have a good time? So I really appreciated that.
Yeah, when it comes to Alexis and William, I do feel like that conversation was deeper and that was actually more significant than the conversation, you know, even with Regina, and also the conversation after, because right after that conversation that Alexis had with William was when she had the conversation with Will, who is the shorter, darker one, and
Mhm.
Lamar. And that's when she asked about intimacy. And when he said that, I was like, oh, wow, damn, okay. Because you don't get too many men who can truly say, like, hey, my faith is what's most important. You have to at
Right.
least believe in order for, anything else to progress. Because just like you said, like, you can't just, what I'm saying, if you have no North Star, how can you travel through the galaxies? You know what I'm saying? How can you find your way? You have to have something. So for him to say that, I felt like that was showing a different side of him. I was really appreciative of that. But then, of course, Lamar, in true Lamar fashion, as only
Mhm.
Lamar could ever do, his idea of intimacy goes straight to the physical and the sexual,
Right.
you know? And the way that he pushes it to
Correct.
make it even more uncomfortable because all you talk about is, what somebody has on, what somebody
Right.
is, their body type, what they look like. There has to be more. Okay,
Right.
Q,
What
you're back
panties
in
they're
great.
wearing.
So actually, so you've been listening. I need your input on what we have talked about thus far, and then we'll move on. And with
Yes.
Braylon, you telling. So yeah, Q, what do you think?
Um, as you were talking, I really was enjoying the show. I really was. Your points of view, I love them. I love them. Um, I don't feel like Lamar should be the star of this show right now. Watch
Q, you still
though,
there, brother? Oh, okay. There you go.
because the authenticity. You know what I'm saying? To see people in their authentic self, wanting to be vulnerable and wanting to be loved. You know what I'm saying? And wanting to show love. You know what I mean? Lamar came with his own agenda. You know what I mean? And it really showed. And it's a blow that we even had to go watch that because he's not ready for that. You know what I mean? And I'm really blown at production because y'all should know this guy shouldn't be here. You know what I mean? But I guess everybody is at a different stage in their love life, you know what I mean, and wanting to be loved and how to be loved. I guess his love language really is sex, you know what I mean? And if he found somebody who exuded the same thing he wanted, it'll probably be a perfect match, you know what I mean? But a lot of people wasn't really feeling that, how he came off misogynistic. Really, it was very disappointing to see, you know what I'm saying? Because um, when you got people that are really there trying to find true connections and you wasting people time talking about you know, how intimacy is so much sex and thinking about this and thinking about that. I really felt like he was very immature. Um, but at the exact same time, I can respect him being himself. You know what I'm saying? But I prefer not to see it. You know, especially in this vein here. I really enjoyed the basketball event. William, really, to me, William, he wasn't that high on my level he wasn't that high
On your
to
list or
me
roster?
on my list. Yes, he wasn't that high on my list, but I feel like he's becoming there. You know what I mean? I'm really understanding who he is, and he's not letting his situation define him. Like, okay, I got kids, but this is me. You know what I'm saying? I have this, but this is me. You know what I'm saying? I've been married, but this is me. You know what I mean? And he consistently shows up and and consistently shows and who he is, and consistently shows himself. And I really appreciate that about him. And also Alexa, I'm really liking her now. I'm really liking her, and her again. You know what I mean? Really giving people a chance to show themselves and the energy she gives off. I'm thoroughly enjoying her a lot. So that was my catch up. Hopefully I caught everything up.
No, you did, brother.
Yeah,
Wonderful
yeah,
job as
definitely
always.
did. Thank you so much. You definitely did. And yeah, I'm leaning towards Alexis more too because she seems more open. She
Yeah.
definitely has an open mind and an open heart. You can kind of see that she's one of them people like she'll ride for you. Listen, Alexis look like she's a little fire. Like she will ride for you till the wheels fall off, help you push it and everything else. And if you need a bus pass, she gonna have. Like,
Yep. And you know what?
like I can see it.
I think that's the beautiful thing about this show, even with its brokenness, is that it can be that one moment that can make or break you, but also can be that one moment that can make or break you. You know what I mean? Um, and I think that there will be glimpses, particularly with this season, where the person that you thought you couldn't stand, you actually do like them, and the people that you think you like, you may not like them. Now I know that that's a possibility for every season, but it seems like to me this is going to be the season of unpredictability. Because it seems like there's not really any clear favorites right now, like you so articulately stated. Um, it seems like right now people are. It seems like people right now are just trying to find their footing. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. Um, so okay. So Q had to drop out. He's gonna be right back. It's okay.
Yep,
We know
all
you back
good.
there, brother. We got you. We
Yes.
definitely got you. So let's go ahead and move on to the next date, which was Rashina and Justin. Can I just say that Rashina is a beautiful woman, okay?
Yes, she is.
I am here for her energy. And her little dog, even though I don't like them little bitty dogs, was cute as ever. Just
Very well
cute as
behaved.
it
Very well
wanted to
behaved.
be.
Right.
But so we start off the date with them two. Hold on. Can you mute your mic, Q, just for a second?
Yep.
So, yep. So we started off with them walking their dogs. Justin has this cute husky. What was the name? Riley. And Rashina's dog's named Chance. So Justin's dog's riled up. He's spilling his drink on him and everything. Listen, this poor little baby was just as nervous as he was, I feel. But anyway, they was able to get the dogs under control. They sat down and talked, got to know each other. And the question came up about him being 134, no children, and how does he feel about a woman with children and with older children, and also him having children of his own. Which to that he, expressed that he has no problem with the woman having children. And he has actually come to terms with the possibility that he may never have kids of his own, but he is still willing to be a father figure to, the woman he is with, her children, if she does have children. So what do you, as you two as men, what do you feel about that? Like how do you feel about a woman with children? Are you
Sure.
accepting of that, or would you prefer a woman that does not have children?
This is an interesting discussion topic here because I've always followed my mom and dad's advice of, if you're gonna find somebody that doesn't have any children, it makes it easier, right? Um, and I do agree with that wholeheartedly. However, as you get older, life gets older. And the women that you do find, some of them do have kids. I think for me, it's the level of where the kid is, right? For me, I don't mind dealing with somebody that maybe is like what, 6, 7, up to 10, right? Um, and the reason why I feel that I can be okay with women having kids is because, for one, my stepdad, who I call dad, he took me in, right? And so, and also too, I wish as a culture we would get over simping, because I hate that damn word. Now I know sometimes, doing the most for somebody that's not doing the most for you, that's disrespectful. But if a man wants to step up and be there for somebody else's kids, we should welcome that, honor that, and love that, because somebody had to care about us. And blood does not make you family, because blood can turn on you too. So I am open to it, but it would have to be with me in the position to be able to do that. Because if you don't have the money to date, you shouldn't date. If you don't have the money to take care of kids, you shouldn't be dating a woman with kids. But if you're in that position and you feel that you can give something good to help those kids rise up just like you rose up, I say why not? Q, over to you, good sir.
One thing about dating with kids and having kids and all that whole dynamic is, it's a real blessing. I mean, it can bring something out of you, and it can also, fulfill a lot of voids, in kids' lives. But as a man, knowing if you're ready for that is the biggest thing. You know what I mean? And I really feel like when he came out there expressing that, what I mean, I think he know he's getting into. Because a lot of people kind of go into things like that not knowing, but just hoping for the best. I can appreciate that. But one thing I liked about Justin, I loved his energy when he came in. Really, really showed itself in different parts of the show. You know what I mean? I think he was a bright light. He's going to be a bright light on the show. And I do believe he's ready. He's ready for love. I remember last year when they brought Chris on, um, I guess a couple days, a couple shows into the process when they brought him in, only thing Chris seemed like he brought was himself. You know what I mean? He didn't really bring any sparks to the show, Um, and I mean, to each his own, but I'm really liking this guy, Justin. I think he's gonna really mix some things up. And I really feel like he's there for love. I love the conversation that they had at the dog park. And he tried his best to control the dog the best he could, but it ain't really work out that well. But I'm really liking this guy right now.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
listen, when it comes to that dog, listen, I have a husky, and my husky's only 4 months old, and this little boy pulls the hell out of me. I'm like, dude, you trying to act like a big dog, and you small. So I understand. I understand his problem. Because boy, these things they're really strong. But yeah, I do feel like his energy is definitely soothing, and I feel like he's definitely going to bring a different dynamic to the show. And actually, Braylon, we was talking about this because Braylon
Yes.
thinks now. Braylon says that he feels Glenn would have
Mhm.
been better than Justin. What do you think?
Now, let me
Go
give
ahead
the
and say
context.
that. Go ahead and say that, Dan.
Mm.
Let me give the context to that, right? And by the way, too, can I just say I also do love Rashia as well, but here's the reason why I love her, not just because of her personality, but I love the fact that even though the husky was out of control, she didn't allow that to be a judgment of him. You know what I mean? Because that
Hmm.
could have went there, right?
Great point.
That's the
Great
that's
point.
the quiet part said out loud.
Yeah,
And thank
yeah.
you, Gigi, and everybody. Um, The reason why I said I think Glenn would have brought some heat to the show is for the fact of Glenn has this quiet but grown energy. And to me, Justin seems like he has this active, high energy. And, on dating shows are like dating in real life. You don't want to date everyone high energy, and you don't want to date everyone with low energy.
I
Or
eat
chill
Ashley.
energy.
I eat
Right.
Ashley, and what's the other girl? With no energy. What's her name? The red girl.
I'm trying to think. Not Patrice. No.
From this episode
No,
or
from
this season?
last season.
Last season. Let me
Yeah.
pull up the red.
Sharice and
I know
Ashley.
you're talking about
Oh,
Cherie.
Sharice
gotcha.
and
Okay.
Ashley.
Yes. Understood. No, for sure.
Yeah,
And
great examples. Great examples.
yeah, great examples. And as me and Gigi were talking before the show, she was like, "Wait a minute now, Justin, he's got some." I'm like, "Yeah, but we also got to recognize that not every woman is the same with her energy."
Mm-hmm.
And so I do think if Glenn would have showed up, I think that Glenn would have brought some heat in terms of a grown, cool energy. Not saying that Justin doesn't have that. I think he does, but I think his purest energy is a high energy.
But one thing about it, Braylon, is you know what I mean, and I come to realize this: certain people energy can get along with anybody,
That's
and I
facts too.
and I really feel like Justice's energy is like that. You know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
like that. I feel like he's gonna be able to get along with most of the women there. I suspect this other guy, you kind of really just don't know. You know what I mean? And another thing about it is, I'm glad he exited the process when he did because he don't know what that process would have brought out of him and if he was
Right.
prepared for that process. You know what I'm saying? So if you'd have came in there guns a blazing, like I'm ready for this, but since you already had your reserves about it, you really don't know how you would have performed or what the outcome would have been. You know what I mean?
Right. And I do hope that maybe at the reunion we can
Oh, yeah.
hear from Glenn. Because I don't think just because he didn't come doesn't mean that he is this or that. Nor should he be portrayed that way. And honestly, too, sometimes what you're looking for doesn't come in the beginning; it comes at the end. Because who knows if Glenn is at the reunion and somebody who didn't work out be like, you know what? I actually can understand why he didn't come on. I would like to go on a date. So Glenn still may find somebody. Because I mean, honestly, if Maurice could come back and get Auntie Charisse,
Hey.
then anything could happen.
Really?
Hey.
I'm sorry. Like he was here for a brief second. He didn't stay on long. He was here for a brief second.
I ain't lying. He showed his face and got up out of there.
Listen.
Listen. Look. Let's just. Anyway, I think. Yeah. Look.
But
See,
I mean, even with
I'm not trying to be combative. Hold on. I'm
Lord, no, not combative.
not trying to be combative. Okay. But either way it goes, I still feel like Justin's more of an asset. But if they was both on there, I feel like there was a few that wouldn't be there as of now, and we'll get to that because I feel like LaMarsha left a long time ago. Okay. Now, the attitude of Glenn, I felt like he almost would have got chewed up just because he was so, like his anxiety did get the best of him, and so did his nerves. So I felt like he kind of would have been more secluded because he still wasn't comfortable in this process or himself yet. So that's why I said I don't feel like Glenn would have been a better choice. But anywho, y'all got anything else to say on that? Because we can move forward.
No, and I can definitely see that. But I also think too that could have been a great storyline. Not for the whole season, because I think some of these storylines are just sometimes a true storyline eventually becomes filler for the season. But I do think if Glenn would have showed up and a woman had that woman's intuition of, hey, is everything okay? That would have been a great opening for him. In terms of, emotionality and things like that. But we can't, hindsight's 2020. But no, I definitely agree that he would have got chewed up, but I don't think he would have stayed chewed up. That would be Lamar.
Hold on. But then, hold on. But listen. But then again, it's also possible that he could have found a woman that made him open up, because Justin did also say, and Chaz said it too, that certain women were able to make them feel more comfortable and help them open up and be more vulnerable. So it does really take the right person. So I kind of I still wish he would have gave it a shot, just because, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So I just really wish he would have jumped in and at least tried. But I understand that, this process is not for everyone.
I think Glenn and Patrice would have been a really good couple. I really do, because think about it. Patrice is basically 30 years old. She has a very bright light to her, and she seems to be a blessing and not a hindrance. And I think that stability, and this is just from what we've seen of Glenn, right? I think that stability of, him being shy and awkward, I think that Patrice's personality and soul would have brought that out of him. And I think his calmness would have made Patrice be still and rest of her femininity. I think that would have been a powerful.
I'm just blowed. I didn't see enough of Patrice. You know what I mean? I even on that episode, I just didn't see enough of Patrice. It was just kind of upsetting that, I didn't really see a reason why to eliminate her. I guess she just, I didn't see a reason why to eliminate her.
Oh no, Patrice is still on the show.
Patrice? Which one is Patrice?
Patrice is the thickalicious girl with the Goldilocks braids that should be pulled like reins. That one.
I forgot her name. I thought she was talking about the girl with the blue dress. I'm tripping. The girl that got eliminated. No. That's one thing I like about it, when, as the weeks progress, the amount of people's not there, so you can really focus on who's there. It's just a lot of people to keep up with.
But I do agree Patricia could have been good in Leyland, but no, I really do feel like
Patrice is the one that's still there. Patricia's gone. Patricia was the one that first got voted off. Patrice is still here.
I do think. Yeah. No, I do think Patrice and Glenn would have been an amazing couple. I really do.
You said Leyland, but that
possibly.
Ooh, that hurt.
Yeah, she was a fine one too. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that energy was smooth, just a sweet lady, just amazing person, it seemed like. But I'm glad, whatever she had to take care of, she had to take care of. But she was a great addition to the show.
At least people feel for her, unlike Lamar. So, but let's roll on. I think we're at where we at the next.
So we're actually just gonna move on, because listen, we got to get to the nitty gritty. Okay, so we're gonna kind of try to push past some things to get to a few main parts. Okay, so we move on and we see Leyland. She has a secret meeting with Tommy.
Yes.
I think I'm echoing you. Can you mute up real quick? But so Leyland meets up with Tommy, and she wants some advice because she's having some personal issues, and she's wanting to know if she should stay in the process or go ahead and deal with what she's dealing with. And Tommy gives her the advice to basically think on it. And honestly, at the end of the day, the choice is always going to be up to her. And that's where he left it. It's up to you. You have to do what's important. But, family comes first. So if y'all want, we can go ahead and talk about that real quick, but I don't feel like there was really much to that. But what do y'all feel about that? Y'all feel
Um,
like, I mean,
I will say this. First of all, shout out to Ray to Love for including that. I know they did that with Lee, but with Lee, it was the fact of her not being respected as a choice. In this scene, I feel like, let me see, Lei Lin respected herself as a choice. Um, because here's the thing, and I think that sometimes GGQ Solana, and to our live chat, that we need scenes of humanity to understand the complexity of emotionality. And I'm glad that that scene was in there because it broke up this fantasy of reality TV that no, this is real.
Mm-hmm.
As much as she wants love, she wants to be responsible for who she loves. And I think that that was a powerful statement. Um, and honestly, I think that that was an attractive quality to me. If I was a man on the show, I'd be like, hey, listen, I know I'm still on the show, but can she still be an option? Because I would be willing to support that. If somebody is making themselves a choice, I would love to support them in that because nobody deserves to feel alone in that. So, but that's just me.
I totally agree, big dog. Totally agree. And I really think it goes along with the actual theme of the show, who's actually ready to love. And when you're ready to love, you know what I mean, sometimes you might have certain obstacles you got to go through, you know what I mean? And a lot of times in dating, you got to know, hey, am I ready to date right now? Am I ready, you know what I'm saying, to date? Am I ready to go on this journey? And, you know, you might have things holding you back that you need to tend to first before you make that leap of faith to start dating. And I think that's where she's at right now. She needs to handle whatever she got to handle, clear her mind. So when the opportunity again comes for her to date, you know, she'll be fully available for it. So I can totally respect it. And I'm glad, like you said, I'm glad they put that part in the show because a lot of people sometimes need to understand where they're at in life. Like, I am willing to date now. I'm ready to date now. I'm ready to find love. But if you got certain things coming about the way and you're trying to date and figure that out and date, something's going to something's not going to get the attention that is needed, and you're not going to be able to put your best foot forward. So sometimes you got to take a step back, handle your situation, and then get back out there.
I definitely agree with both of you. And I do like the fact that they are willing to be vulnerable enough to show this vulnerable side of, this beautiful woman who is actually putting her family first and allowing herself to, take a step back in this process and admit that this right now is not for her. So let's move on to the next scene, which is at Chaz's house. And it's Vanessa, Patrice, Koshia, Alonzo, and Justin. Now, off top, Alonzo and Koshia sit down and they talk about what happened last week, which we already know the back and forth because um, a comment that he made and then said it wasn't sexual, which, I mean, do you like to be choked or spanked? Anybody asking that, that's like sexual.
Right.
We all agree on that, right?
Yeah.
Totally.
Um, but they sat down, he apologized, and she accepted. How do y'all feel before we go further? How do y'all feel about that?
I'm glad that was a resolution. You know what I mean? And I know Gigi, me and you talked about this because you gave me a point of view on it that I didn't really think about. And Q, you also said this too, that even though this is called Ready to Love, there are levels to get ready to love, right? And
Mm.
so if we're just getting to know each other in this, dating show process, I'm at my mind is at level one and my soul is at level one. That doesn't mean that I don't want to go there, but I have to earn the right to go there with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I'm glad that and listen, you miss 100%. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, like you said, Gigi. But there is that time where when you do miss the shot, instead of trying to be King James when you really are a rookie, still playing college basketball, you need to I'll put it like this: if you are playing in March Madness, you need to know that you're playing at college level. You don't need to pretend that you're in a game 7 when you're not in a game 7.
Mm-hmm.
It's levels to it. So I'm glad that there was a resolution.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree.
Wait a second. I'm gonna say something on that because listen, I'm an athlete and I'm gonna tell you every game is game 7
I ain't
when
lying.
it comes to it.
Lord help.
Now, I'm
We don't
gonna
just
tell
Now,
you
shoot.
now,
right
We ain't
now.
shoot.
now,
Hey,
just
hey,
now,
GG,
now,
we ain't just shooting just to be shooting. Huh?
now, listen.
Exactly. Hold on. Wait a second. This is
Okay.
all purposeful, and I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm getting older, so everything has to count. You know what I'm saying?
I cannot
Shit.
with y'all.
Wake up with Charlie horses. Like, well, come on
I
now.
ain't lying. For real, it hurt now. I'm trying to tell you.
Hey,
Right.
I,
Like, come on.
I,
Nah.
went- I, I
It's
went
got to be
from
done
being
with a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I went from being ignorant with Maurice to trying to be soulful with basketball, and then it's like, you know what, Bray? I love you, but no, everything matters. I'm like, good time.
Everything matters, ain't it, big
But
dog? I'm trying
I
to
but
tell
I
you.
understand though, and that's a very valid
Listen.
point. That the bigger the age you are, the more time you don't have to waste those game 7s. So I can receive what y'all are saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 'cause that career, how you want to finish that career off,
Right.
Exactly. Because you know something, it's how you start, sometimes it's how you finish.
Yeah.
Correct.
So you gotta come but this is the thing is when it comes to this scenario in relationships though, even if you're coming off strong, there's levels to the strength. You can
Right.
come off strong in the area of I'm going to show you that I can communicate. I'm gonna show you my strength in communication, my strength in protection, my strength in diversity, my strength in I'm gonna show you my strength in this. Once you have managed and have basically conquered those levels of me, all right, then we're going. Well, this is the game. We're about to start unlocking the rest of them. You know what I'm saying? You don't have
Mhm.
to start off with everything. You don't have to show your whole hand. Sometimes you need to keep stuff close to the chest because one, not everyone is really meant to be on every level that you have. Not
Right.
everyone is meant to be with
Correct.
you on certain times. At certain times, certain days, certain levels, they're not meant to be there with you. So you can't give to everyone. So you really have to know yourself and really know what you are willing to take on and what you really don't want. So once you're able to do that, you know how to come off. You know how to be. But if you don't have experience in it, you don't really know yourself, and you're just, you know what I'm saying, closed minded and focused on, you know, just yourself, then that's what
Correct.
happens.
Mhm.
So, um, so while they was at Chaz's house, Justin knocks on the door and surprised everybody because now this is Chaz's house and Chaz didn't even know he was coming, which to me that was disrespectful. Yes, I understand it's a date, but um, you could have at least Patrice, you could have at least said, "Hey, I invited him because she was the one that invited him." Or yeah, she did.
Yeah,
Patrice
she did.
invited him, and he comes in, he introduced himself, and they was asking where he's from. Let me know he's from Mississippi, and that his granddaddy was the mayor.
Mhm.
So Chaz had to throw some shade and was like, "Why you leave with that?" What did y'all think about that part? Y'all think he was trying to throw out who he was to give claim to fame, or like what was that?
No, I don't think it was a claim to fame. Because here's the thing: if he went to a diatribe of like, oh yes, I got to meet this person and that person, it's one thing to give an accomplishment off of your resume. It's another thing to give off your resume. So I don't think he was trying to do the most to be seen. Now like you said, Gigi, even though this is a dating show and there is a curveball, usually production will let you know who's coming in that scene. And I think at least for Chaz, maybe you don't have to tell the other gentleman, you know what I mean? Let that be a surprise for them. But if you are inviting somebody over to my house that I do not know, I at least deserve a heads up.
Yeah, I agree. somebody should have said something. You know what I mean? Because somebody ring my doorbell like that. It's gonna be especially. I'm gonna go. First off, let me tell you the other disrespectful part. He just walked in the house. It wasn't like somebody went and opened the door. He just walked in the house.
Like, he knocked and opened. Like, no.
He just walked in the
I mean, it wasn't even a SpongeBob of like,
house.
hi, how are you? It was nothing.
He just walked in.
Nothing.
He just walked right in the house. You don't know if he walked in the right house or nothing. He just walked right in the house. He just walked in. I said, my man. I said, my man. Now
It's
I
like,
really don't believe now the person who owned the house, I forgot his name, but if that was me, he didn't even get up or nothing.
Yeah,
Whoever
Chaz.
walked in, Chaz, he didn't get up or
Yeah, it
nothing.
was Chaz's house. And that's what, when he said, why would you leave with that? I was like, oh, he's throwing shade. He already mad you done walked in his house.
Yeah.
Now you sitting there talking about your granddad? Oh, yeah. He was mad.
I don't feel like Chaz was really feeling. I don't think he was really feeling him like that. I guess you know how it is with guys. You gotta feel each other
yeah.
out. At the exact same time, I didn't. I guess he felt threatened by Justin. You know what I'm saying? Because at the same time,
Right.
it'd have been too easy to be more welcoming than that. You know what I'm saying? The first thing you gotta do, you gotta challenge somebody. You know what I mean? If you lead with love, you're gonna get love. If you lead with disrespect, that's what it's gonna be. But I
That's
felt
it.
like he could have just came a lot more welcoming.
Right. And this is the
Right.
thing. Right? And this is the thing, right? Like, if I came to one of y'all houses, Solana, Q, Gigi, I would at least bring over a bottle of champagne or something. Even if you did, no. I mean,
I mean,
listen,
you're right. You 100% right.
within budget, we ain't gonna go broke to impress nobody because we just trying to make sure our mental health is okay.
A
Amen.
little bottle of wine
But
and stuff.
right, but a little bottle of wine, never hurt nobody. Or if there is or if food is already there, you can be like, hey, you know what? I brought over some Wingstop. I asked them, for maybe 30-piece lemon pepper.
A little
You
cake.
don't eat. Right, exactly. You know what? And here's the thing: it's not so much kissing behind, but sometimes being kind can go a long way.
It can. It can.
You know what I mean? And then guess what?
Absolutely.
Not to mention, it takes the conversation off of you because if I was Justin, I brought over some Wingstop. Then guess what? The conversation would have changed. Like, okay, you got lemon pepper, but you couldn't get mango habanero though. What, you like mango habanero? Dude, you my dude. And then that whole mood could change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's move on. So after everybody leaves, Miss Vanessa, she stays with Chaz. She gets under the blanket and they, look at each other face to face and have, eye to eye conversation. So,
Gigi. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, they both talked about their connection and what they want. And it seems like they're both on the same page and actually have some type of connection. Do you guys feel like this is genuine and something that can blossom? Do you feel like this just might be a for now thing and he possibly has eyes for someone else?
Well, I love musical references, so I have to bring one in. Hey girl, what's your fantasy? Making love between the sheets. Ooh, 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 baby. Baby. Here's the Whitney Houston verse. It's obvious to see exactly what I mean. Listen, she got under that blanket, but she wanted to get under more things than that because she was glazed like glaze at Krispy Kreme over original glazed donuts. You heard? In a dozen. No, I think that Lord help me. I think that it could be the start of something like we all are saying. This is the beginning of the season. Nothing is concrete yet, but I do think it's a good start.
I don't believe in. I'm not. I don't. I think it can be something nice. I can tell she really likes him. I think he like her, but I really don't know his intentions yet. You know what I mean? Is he really
Right.
locked in on her, or is he's trying to spread his royal oaks? I'm trying to figure out, what exactly is he about? Because I feel like she's been pretty consistent. She gave some guys attention, and she didn't give some guys attention. I'm trying to see if he's trying to give all the women attention, or is he really trying to lock in on one or two women to see which avenue he's gonna go.
Yeah, I
Okay,
agree.
to me, so I actually feel that he actually likes Patrice.
Hmm.
This is just my opinion. I feel like he could be into Vanessa because Vanessa's very beautiful and she's very, kind of easy to get along with.
Sure, absolutely.
But I feel that I feel like his connection really isn't with her, but it could be if he actually took time to focus on her. But it's all on really if that's where he's wanting to be because she can put her all into him and give her all in, attention because that's what happens. And then next thing you know, they're not picking you. You picking them, but they're not picking you. We've seen it time and time again. So let's go ahead and move forward. Um, can you mute real quick? So we move on to Maya and Lamar. Maya invites Lamar to. Hold on, let me mute real quick. Can you mute real quick? Sorry, hear an echo. Okay, yeah, that's better. Okay, so Maya invites Lamar to her photo shoot. She has a waistband or Lord, a waist
Waist
trainer
trainer.
line. Yes, it's the waist trainer line. And she's modeling for that and doing photo shoots because that's what she does. That was her way of being intimate, is inviting her into her space of being a content creator and you know being a woman that has her own brand and business. So she stops and they start talking, and she asks him um, if he has a type of woman or does he just like beautiful women. And he says no, he doesn't. He just, he doesn't have a type. And she says that she doesn't like just the physical attraction. She needs to know that you're more emotionally, mature and mentally mature. So Lamar says that physical is important because sex is important to him and how he's been with more than just one woman and how he needs sex all the time. And um, that just kind of rubs her the wrong way because he just went straight into that. How do y'all feel about that? Like, is sex the main thing that's important, or do you feel like, how do you feel about how he, oh, I just don't even know. He just makes me just, oh,
I feel
No,
like
I
he.
mean, oh, go
Oh,
ahead, kid. Go ahead.
my fault. Go ahead, brother.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, all of us up here are content creators and human beings with lives. I mean, we're not as big as being on, Ready to Love, Friday nights 8 7 Central, only on only here hashtag on keeping it real. But we do have lives, right? And it's a privilege to be able for somebody to bring you into their world.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what I would have asked is like, okay, so intimacy for you is being creative with your individuality. What made you get into waist training? I know that for women, it is more about the mental of, even though I like hips and fingertips and everything else in between, for you it may be a freedom of release for you to be able to sleep better at night, to be able to spend more time with your family. So what made you get into this when I think you're already beautiful? Now, was that a bit long-winded? Yes. But was it better than what Lamar said? Yes. So I think the fact that he could see the intimacy of someone allowing him into her space of entrepreneurship and intellect um, and just really her mindset. He missed the mark on
I feel like Lamar done had a lot of bad sex.
that. Good day,
I
just
really
good day.
feel that. I really feel that because
well, damn, there you go.
for you to sit there and say, to lead with that, you know what I'm saying, about your sexual needs and you need this and you need that. you done had a lot of, you know what I mean, you wasn't satisfied a lot. And he keeps saying, I need a woman to satisfy me. So he done been around some women, I guess, who could not, or he couldn't satisfy them, or however it went, you know what I'm saying? But for you to be this consistent about that, you know what I mean, persistent about that. And then on the back thing about it is, let me tell you, the back thing about it is, once you found out, okay, say she goes above and beyond and satisfies your needs, right? The type of person he sounds like he is, he gonna want them to go the extra mile, and he gonna want to find something else to satisfy him as well. So I really feel like it's gonna be an endless cycle of Lamar treating a woman like his sex slave. You know what I'm saying? Or his value for women aren't that high, or he only sees them in one vein because this is the only thing he talk about is sex. You know what I'm saying? So what woman want to sit there and just they want one thing, but the only thing you offering or talking about is that, you know?
Exactly. That's how I feel. And I was saying that, like, I feel like he's overcompensating. Like, maybe he didn't have, you know, he didn't get that attention when he was younger. He might have was, an ugly kid or something, growing up. He really, it happens. I've heard this plenty of times where men is like, hey, women really didn't pay me any attention. They really didn't, you know, like me. But it's like, um, you're making up for it. Like, I feel like he's gotta make up for what he didn't have before. And like you said, it could be that he's not good at it. Maybe he hasn't. I don't know. I just feel like it's an overcompensation, and I feel like you said, it's an endless cycle. It's never going to end. It's never going to be good enough. It's never going to be enough. It's going to be more and more and more. And it's because without that, he has nothing else. What else can you offer? And you're always talking about a woman having sex and having to satisfy you, but what can you offer besides sex? Because if you're bad at it, then who wants to have it? No wonder why you're going to continue to keep looking for it.
Sometimes the problem is you. Sometimes the problem is you.
Exactly. But he he goes on to say something so vile, so disgusting, and so disturbing that it made me cringe. And I wanted, like, if I could have just threw my whole fucking TV and I thought I would have shook him, if I did it, I would have done it. Um, he asked her what was the freakiest thing she did in high school and asked her if she lost her virginity on prom night.
Yeah, that was just way out of fucking line. I mean that's when the curveball responsibility should have been brought up in the ladies' lounge. Because honestly, bruh, you should be here to find love. And it wasn't even the fact of, hey, what was the freakiest thing that you've ever done, in your adult life? Oh, no, 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 no. You want to go back to adolescence, to use a grown-up word, to use a fancy word, adolescence. Not knowing what trauma she could have experienced in high school. You were just a Mitch to be a Mitch at that point.
Right. And after you see that she's uncomfortable, like, you go further when you see she's uncomfortable and say, oh, I bet that was a good prom night. Motherfucker, what? Like, this is when production should have called a fucking timeout. This is,
you're
listen,
really off the show.
You're off. You're out of here. Like, you're out of here.
Yeah.
Like, that should have been the time when, no, are you serious? What in your right mind would make you think it's okay to say some shit like that? Whatever would you think that especially to a woman you barely even know?
That part.
Now, everything's always about sex, but this right here goes to a whole different realm. This is something else.
Right.
Like, no, that right there was so offensive and so egregious that I feel like he should have been let go right then,
Yep.
right then. If I
And
was
then
her, I would have
that.
went
And
to
then,
the producers. I'm not gonna do this. If he doesn't go, I'm gone.
yep.
No,
Absolutely
that was
right.
disgusting.
And that should have been okay, nephew. We need to talk. And that emergency lounge, and then fill in with extended dates. That's exactly what I would have done, because that was just no. And honestly, tell you the truth, um, he should not be invited to the reunion.
Yeah,
He
agreed.
should not
No,
be invited to the
he
reunion.
definitely should not be. Mm-mm. Do not. Yeah, no, because this shit is cringeworthy. And
Yeah,
this is very cringeworthy. And then to see, we're not gonna skip, but to see how he acted at the end,
child.
it blows my mind. It just blows my mind. But listen, we're gonna move on when Q gets back up here because he will be back. Um, I want to get his input on that too because that's
Oh,
just crazy. Make sure that you guys are um in the chat. Let us know what y'all think. Um, Also, thank y'all for coming in. Please like, share, subscribe to our channel. I am
yes, indeed.
I am Gigi Nan. So subscribe to my channel, Queen's Tea with Gigi Nan. This is Braylon Lee.
Yes.
Got our boy
Hello.
Q. Make sure you subscribe to Solana.
Yes.
Talk with Solana. And make sure you guys are praying for her right now that, she's had a speedy recovery. But
Amen.
so yeah, we're just gonna move on just for now and then we'll go back to that. So
Yep.
we move on to Maya, Mika, Jonathan, and LaRon. So Maya invites them all to her favorite spot, which is this restaurant, and finds out that it's one of LaRon's favorite spots too. So that's something they have in connection, which is good. So they're all going around asking questions, and then it was asked when their last relationship was, and it comes out about Jonathan having an ex-wife, and um, it catches Mika off guard, and she, kind of lets it be known, and then she pulls Jonathan away to have some one-on-one time, and she asks him, like basically, what does he want in a woman? And he says he wants compromise. He wants a woman who can compromise. And they start talking about compromising and being able to be honest and knowing everything instead of, hiding things. And that's when she brings up the fact of her not knowing about him having a wife, how it caught her off guard, you know, and how she's confused about it, which it is kind of confusing because you downplayed her as your baby mama. You never said you was
Right.
married when asked about your previous relationship. It was asked about your previous relationship. You called her your baby mama. You didn't say wife. So I'm confused too as to if this is the same person, two different
Right.
people, you know. Um, so it's just like, why would you just, not say it in the beginning? Just let it be known. I have an ex-wife. We have a kid together, you know, instead of hiding it. Do you feel like he was hiding it for a reason? Because I mean, he did say he didn't want to be judged about his past, but it's like
Absolutely.
if I'm gonna get to know you, I need to get to know you.
Absolutely. And not to mention too, y'all are all at big grown age to be on national television. Like there should be no judgment with any of y'all except Lamar. But but you know what I mean? And listen, I do get somewhat because some people can be very judgmental, but also too, that is up to you to be responsible with your truth and your vulnerability, right? So and when he said, I did not say that, I'm like, no, you did. You said baby mama. You did not say wife. You didn't even say ex-wife. You said baby mama. So
Right.
no, that
Right.
was out the way.
Okay. So yeah, like I feel like you say you want compromise, but yet you don't give full context of what is going on. So I can only compromise with I guess, half truths that you give,
Right.
which that leads to mistrust. Like, if I can't trust you to tell me everything, then I can only feel like you'll hide anything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, that to me it just definitely wasn't a good thing to do. So we'll move on to LaRon and Maya. They both, we're talking. They both want to be a power couple. They both, kind of want the same thing in each other, um, and in a partner. So I feel like it played out pretty good with them. Um, I feel like they might have a connection. What do you think? You think there's a connection there or no?
With who now? Say that one more time for
With
me.
Maya and LaRon.
My
Maya
I
was
got
the
the.
one that did the photo shoot. And
Mhm.
then LaRon was the dude who said he goes out Wednesday through Friday or Wednesday through Sunday,
Oh
something
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah. You know what? Thank you, beautiful. So this is Maurice's brother. Got it. Now I know, because man, that catfish is so damn good. No,
Right.
listen, listen. It's no judgment here, but good damn, I've never seen a brother that deep into fish before. You know what? I'm gonna just shut my mouth because I recognize where that could go. But anyway, no, I thought that the connection between those two. I'm sorry, I get that laugh.
Listen, he was into that catfish. It made me want some. I said, shit, I'm gonna have to go find out where this is at because this must be the best. He just I
Catfish
said,
ever.
damn.
Oh my lord. Okay, I the laugh was for that comment and for where that fish joke could have went. But we're not gonna go there. Listen, but no, I thought that conversation was really really good. I think there is dimension to Laron. Um, I just think he needs to show it a little bit more. And that doesn't mean you gotta, drop everything and make dates for every single woman. But I think to go back to Alexis, um, oh, not Alexis. Damn it. What was the young lady that came on our panel? Um,
Aries.
Aries, thank you. And
Hmm.
Aries, if you hear this, it's nothing but love. I was just trying to bring your name up for this point. What Aries said about stability, I think that's what was being looked for. Oops, sorry. I think that's what was being looked for was stability. Um, and some people feel a way about LeBron, doing what he does, Wednesday through Sunday. And I know we're not the Ladies Lounge yet, but I do want to bring up this at least one point from the Ladies Lounge because I do agree to a certain degree that LeBron is a single man. It's not that he wants to do that; that's just his life. Now, the only way that point will not be valid is if he carries that energy throughout this experience. If he's not sincere with the connections, if he's not investing, um, if he's not wanting to give his all, then that point is out the window. But I thought it was a good conversation.
Yeah, so let's move on. So we go to the ladies' lounge. Now it's time for the ladies to reveal who they like and who they don't like.
Oh
So
Lord.
yeah, it comes up. We're not gonna go through all of them, but it comes up that you know there's a few of them that they like. That's okay, and then there's the few that they don't. Of course, they're into the new. Okay, Q, you're back up. Okay, so before we even get to the ladies' lounge, let's go ahead and back it up because I wanted your input on what we were talking about Lamar and Maya
Yes.
and the comment he
Maya
said
is
about the prom.
right. And Maya is a sweetheart. I think she's gonna be a fan favorite before the end of the season as well.
Yeah, I like Maya. I like how she handled herself even in that situation. Lamar, that was very disturbing. Just why in the world you were what somebody did when they was 16, 17 years old. That's kind of perverted. Somebody decided to share that with you, that's on them. But you coming out asking a question like that, nah, that's not the way to go. Ain't no telling what other skeletons he got in his closet. Like I said, I really don't feel like he deserves to be the star of this show. I'm kind of tired of talking about him, really, just because of what he's brought to the table. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I really am. You know, I really, it really exuded who Maya was and how she handled herself in that situation,
Yes, she
and
did.
all, and also representing her brand too. She had to slide that in there. Smart woman. I like the way you did that.
Right.
I'm not a fan of that comment or most comments he's made. And a lot of times when you on TV, and what TV and social media are really is just timelines. You know what I mean? It's really just photo
That's
books
it.
you've done. You know what I mean? And I don't know if you can be proud of the things that you did. You know what I mean? Years along the line, you might not live with no regrets. You might be that type of person. But I really wish he could have found a better way to express himself and his wants and his needs than just coming out so horny.
Absolutely. No, no, you're right. And I even said, that just like, of course Janelle didn't say this at the reunion, but when she talked about the executive producers of the show, one of those executive producers were the presidents of Lighthearted Entertainment, the production company that made this, by saying that you're scum of the earth and you're my footstool. There is consequences for what you do. And I said Q to Gigi and to Solana and to the chat that he should not be invited to the reunion.
I really,
I mean, even if it was just nephew Tommy and him, he doesn't even deserve that. He should not come to the reunion.
I really wish he would come to the reunion regardless. You know, it's so many lessons to be learned, and
True.
people can grow after stuff like that. And after you seeing yourself how you act and things that you said, you might be like, dang, I can express myself a little better without offending people the way you did. You know what I'm saying? So I really wish he can come. Hopefully he learns something from there.
Hopefully, good damn.
He might be a new man after that. You know what I mean? It take different experiences for you to go through to grow. Because you looking at that right there, you can see why he was divorced twice, and he's in the situation he's in now, looking for love. You know what I mean? But he might just need to change his approach.
Yeah, well,
Very good.
love and sex are two different things, and it doesn't look like he's looking for love to me. So that's just my opinion. So we have moved on to when Maya, Mika,
My,
huh?
my fault, Gigi. I want to say something. I probably was on mute then, on stage. Whenever Jonathan was talking to what's that girl name? He pulled to the side.
Um,
Have we gotten there
So
yet?
she, no,
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 not.
no. Right now we're going because I wanted your input on the, what had happened in the scenes previous because you was out. So now I'm getting your input on them. So we're going to talk about the Maya, Mika, Jonathan, and LaRon when they was in the restaurant. And when it came to the
Gotcha.
questioning, and Jonathan was asked when was his last relationship, and he said with his ex-wife, and it
Hmm.
caught Mika off guard. What did you feel about that part when she pulled him to the side and he was talking about how he wants a woman to compromise and she was speaking on, well, I need for you to be honest and be able to tell me things, and they agreed on that. What did you feel about that part?
I'm gonna tell you one thing about every day is you got a chance, you know what I mean, to change your opinion and your view. I want to recant my statement I made last week because the more I listen, Jonathan could have came off and said, "Hey, it sounds more responsible for you to say this, this child came from my ex-wife, than to say this child came from, another situation." You know what I'm saying? So if no matter what, you know what I'm saying? I had a child out of wedlock, you know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is, you know what I mean? Situations happen, and then that's what happened, you know what I mean? It might don't sound as responsible to people, but if you had a child from a significant other, a wife, you know what I'm saying? It might be a little bit more understanding, you know what I'm saying? So I felt like if he would have came out and said, "Hey, this is my situation. This is what happened. She is my ex-wife, and we had a child together," versus come off and saying, "Hey, this is my baby mama." You know what I'm saying? So one sounds a little more, a little bit more depth than the other. You know what I'm saying? So I really wish he would have said led early with, "Yeah, I was previously married. and this is, what happened with that, instead of just trying to hide that whole thing. So, Jonathan, you should have came out saying that you were married first. I felt like that would have been a lot more depth to that than versus saying the latter.
Yeah, and it just would have been, like it would have been more honest, more open. It wouldn't feel like you have something to hide.
Hmm.
Because once a person kind of gets in their mind that you'll hide stuff and you'll lie, it's kind of stuck and it's kind of hard for
Yeah,
them
get out.
to let go of the fact that you lied, so they feel like you always will. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna actually skip past the whole Maya and LaRon because I'm sorry, that was kind of boring, but it was cool. They both sat there, realized that they want to be power couples. She talking about they could be the Michelle and Barack. Too far. That's no. I mean, hey, I understand the significance of what she was saying.
Another thing,
Damn.
Absolutely.
another thing, Gigi. I've just a question I've always, throughout this show, when certain women say I have my insecurities about this and about that. So whenever you're questioning a man, are you questioning from your insecurities?
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
So
that's two different questions. You know what I mean? Whenever you questioning somebody from your insecurities versus questions out of strength, like, what I mean, those are two different questions, and I hate when they do that.
right. So I mean, yes, there are definitely women who are very insecure and they will question you based off their insecurities. But there are also women who, when we question you, it's not because of an insecurity. It's because of an action that was made that
Mm,
needs to be questioned. Just like if a man can question me, like my husband, he'll question me. Okay, fine, question me all you want to, but just know that if I question you about something, it shouldn't be where, oh, I'm doing it because I'm insecure. No, sometimes we need to ask questions to get to where we going. Like, listen here, your GPS might not be working. You want to ask me to use mine? Sure, here, I'll use mine.
mm,
Sometimes questions need to be asked. Because it
And
doesn't
so,
matter how long you're in a relationship or how long you're, with someone. Questions always need to be asked, but there needs to be a respect level to it. Now, if you are just asking out of insecurity, that's not a relationship you need to be in. Because if you're
right.
insecure about it, one, you haven't worked on yourself. And two, if this relationship is making you feel even more insecure than what you already are, that's not the relationship for you.
Exactly. Agreed.
no, I agree with that. I think sometimes too, it's a difference between questioning from your insecurities and questioning to establish security.
Mm, mm,
You know what I
gotcha.
mean?
Mm.
Because
Say that again.
honestly,
Say that again.
no, seriously, it's a difference
Bar.
between questioning from your insecurities and asking questions to create and establish security.
Hmm.
Because as y'all all know, the career I want is media. I want to be doing Friday Night Live. Ray love Friday Night Live on with Queen T with Gigi Non Q and talk with Solana being
Yes, sir.
on every Friday night. Damn it, getting those checks. In Jesus' name, yes, 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 amen, amen. I and when I and when
Amen.
I ask, and when I ask my woman of, hey, can you handle me? No, we love you, brother. It's all good. Can you handle the fact that I'm going to be so much in the public? Well, I want Friday nights to be inside with you and me. That tells me, okay, you want quality time. What will determine if I stay or not is how 10 toes down you are in it. If you say, well, Braylon, I really do love you, but I want Friday nights to be for us. Okay, let me ask this. How do we go about that? Well, I mean, you can bring people to the show, right? Yeah. Well, you remember the Dr. Phil show when Robin sat in the audience with Dr. Phil. Maybe I could come every Friday night. And then after that, we can go out to wherever you want to after I talk to the audience for 20 minutes. That is a queen. A princess will be like, well, why you gotta be on every Friday night helping people find love and stuff? You can't, you should be ready to love me. Then that tells me, okay, you're not respecting what I bring to the table. So I can, if you can't respect what I'm bringing to the table, I can't respect your table that you're putting before me either.
Right. Well, listen. Like, like I said, the questions are good. Like you said, if it's to establish security, cool. But when you're coming off insecurity, that's something that needs to be worked on.
Yep.
So we're going to move on because we are about to close it out here soon. So let's move on to the lounge where the ladies are talking about who they like, who they don't like. Listen, it's getting around who they like, who they don't like, and it gets to Koshia. And Koshia is talking about who she doesn't like, and she says she doesn't like Will. And she says she doesn't like Will and brings up Alexis and says that Alexis has been telling Will what has been going on in the ladies' lounge, calls her out, lets it be known, like, you know, listen here, it blows up. When I say it blows up, it blew up. So first off, before we get to that, let's just start off with Laylin telling everybody that she's leaving. Laylin is off. She's gone. She's actually going to, you know, deal with what she's dealing with in her personal life. And then it goes to, you know, the women talking about who they like and dislike. And then it comes up with the issue with Will and you know, Koshia. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, you know, I think for one, to bring that out to the ladies, that was very vulnerable and commendable. You know, I would think that after not just a woman, but a black woman being so vulnerable in front of black women about the magnitude of how she feels, I would think that would set a tone for the ladies' lounge. It did not. And here's the thing, right? I like Alexis, but Nephew Tommy did have a rule. What goes on in this lounge stays in this lounge, right? So I get Koshia's point of view of gossiping to the others. And I say I get that point because if there was somebody that I liked, right, and I heard something, I would also want to tell them so they could win a shot, right? Because I want to keep them on the show. I think where it got trivial was when Tequila from last season, Tequila had Habibi energy. But it flipped in this situation with Koshia because Koshia doesn't like Will. But she is 10 toes down in being disrespected. I think where it escalated was where Koshia is like, this little girl wants to do the most. And when I beat her ass, then that's where she's going to want to say something. And then when she said that she got a body built like a 12-year-old, I'm like, well, I mean,
listen,
like
and listen, hold on, we're going to get to that because see, when first off, when Alexis called her Koisha, I was dead. My name is Koshia, okay? So she was saying how Alexis claimed that everybody, all the men have a problem with her, or she has a problem with every man. They've all come at her wrong. They've come at her strong. They've come at her sexual. And she was saying that nobody's, done that to her. And yes, she did say something about her body being built like a 12-year-old. I'm dead. But Alexis claimed that she told Will that the reason why, or she was basically telling Will, like, hey, you need to create your own narrative. Don't let people paint you out as a pervert. And Mika actually joined in and said, nobody said that but you. So it seems that one, Alexis was talking to Will about probably what was going on in the lounge, for one. Mm-hmm. And two, that she actually is kind of adding on to maybe some things she might feel that was not said. Because, although we don't see everything, but from what we did see, I didn't see anyone call him a pervert. If anything, I would say Lamar's the pervert But
Yeah.
yeah. So, what do you feel about that part there? Do you feel like Alexis was putting more on it, or like what would you? First off, what would be the reason that you would feel she would basically go against the rules and not talk about what happened in the lounge to Will? Do you really feel like there's a connection there for that, or that's just kind of like, you know, maybe she talks
I
too much?
I think she probably talks too much. You know what I mean? Because um and we also and I think too, if I was Tommy, I would be like, okay, wait a minute. What let's establish why don't you like Will? Can you give context? If she would gave the mixer context of that, well, you didn't know that you had 3 kids, so the D was that good, that would have maybe not calmed the waters, but at least it would not have started the formation of a typhoon. If you follow the analogy, everybody. Um, so to me, I don't think anyone called him a PV or a vert. But I do feel Koshia was disrespected, and that was disrespectful for him to say the D was that good because you just met her. Um, I
Right,
think the problem. I
right.
think the problem. I think the problem with Alexis is, and nephew Tommy said this to his credit, that we gotta recognize just because that's not your experience doesn't mean that that woman's experience is invalid. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? So
Exactly.
I
And
so
that's what Coach
maybe
C was saying. Just because it didn't happen to you, you can't say what happened to me.
right,
Just, and
yeah,
that's what Alexa was saying is it didn't happen to me. Well, just because not everyone has the same experience.
right,
So you can't sit there and judge something because we seen on camera how aggressive he was and how he was with her. If it made her feel uncomfortable, it made her feel uncomfortable. You can't,
absolutely,
dismiss how she feels about a person because those are
correct,
her feelings.
right. And
Now,
it's not like she was trying to throw Will under the bus purposely like Janelle did, with Chris, right?
mhm,
There was an actual circumstance that was valid, and she Koshia did walk away, which it's better to walk away than to lose everything, right? Because not everybody is worth your time, energy, and commitment. And with Alexis, having the attitude that she had, um, I feel like this needs to be a mentally bought lesson early than later in the season for her. Um,
right.
because I know we haven't got there yet, but even in the meeting, she was even like defending him. Then I'm like, girl, you you
Yeah.
you you
It
you,
really
you
it
don't,
really reminded me of Tequila and Habibi. Like that's
yeah,
definitely what it
you,
gave me the vibes of.
exactly. You don't recognize that you defending him so hard could also hurt you.
Right. And she definitely got mad and, got rough and said she was gonna, listen here, if I smack her in the mouth, she ain't gonna be saying nothing. And all Lexa could say, really? Really? If that's what you want to do, girl, listen here. I feel like Koshia would break you. So I don't think that's something that you definitely want to do.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and body image is, I think everybody struggles with that. However, that 12-year-old comment was a bit out the way, but you also talk from your hurt. Makoshia is a full-grown woman with curves, so I listen. Can't get mad at you not getting the attention because you don't have it. So listen,
Listen,
um,
it's look. Well, listen, we're gonna move on because we gotta get to this elimination. Okay, so listen,
yes.
here
Oh my
goes the
God.
nitty gritty. We get down to the final two, and it's Will and Lamar. So
Hmm.
Will and Lamar, they meet up. Will meets up with Alexis. Lamar meets up with Coach Shea. They're going through it. Coach, Alexis was letting Will know that how some of the women feel and about some of the things that he had said and did, and he felt like they were lying on him. It put him in a mood. But still, he ended up being told he was still ready to love. So, because she is talking to Lamar, and she's letting him know about how the women feel uncomfortable and how he comes off too strong and is a little risky in the things that he says and how he acts,
Correct.
and lets him know that he's not ready to love, and he acts surprised, and then basically he's just like, nobody's ready for him. He gets mad and asks for his roses back. Like, he
Give
was
me
just
my
doing too
roses
much with
back.
that. Yeah. Then he eats her salad, talking about this the last meal. Like, what did you feel about this last scene?
Oh my Lord Jesus! First of all, change your tone, dude. Really, like, I it pissed me off because well, it pissed me off for the fact of why would you say this, but also too, I'm glad that this was shown because when he does come to the reunion, he's not going to be able to say shit. And I truly believe that sometimes in life we need to know what not to become, and this was one of those prime examples. The fact that he said, "Give me my flowers back" and stuff like that. Like, dude, no, you deserve to go home. Like, this is one of those things where it's like you can't have a tantrum on this one.
He made the comment that basically he was cool with it, but he felt like he lost. So that's what it was. He feels like a loser now because he was eliminated.
Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, like, dude, like, if you feel that way, then that is your own fault. You cannot say that nobody told you to stop, because the ladies have told you to stop plenty of times. You know what I mean? And listen, I get that sometimes there are some women that they don't have a sense of humor, but that's not every woman. You have to know when to hold them and when to fold them. And I felt like he was really doing the absolute most. So I was quite frankly I was sorry over him, but no. And then he's like, "Give me my flowers back."
No, and before that,
Really?
when she was talking to him, he was like, change your voice, change your tone of voice. You talking to me like a school teacher. Like, what is she supposed to do? Yell at you and all that? No, she's giving you well wishes. Like, here, I wish you well. And because you can't take it, and she gets up and wants to walk away, give me my flowers back. You are so immature, and it's best that you are like gone. Like, it's a done deal. We don't have to talk about you anymore. You are a wrap. You're closed. You lost. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Yeah, and the fact that she was even giving Grace out the door, which, I mean, I don't know Koshia, just like we don't know Koshia, but to me, it seems that she is that real. That if you mess with her, you mess with her, but if you good to her, she's good to you. And I feel like she was really just trying to bring peace to the valley, because nobody wants to be the person to say that you're not ready to love, because nobody can define that. But this is the show.
Right. But if you show that you're not ready, then I mean, who else is to say that you're not? Like, you're showing what you're ready for. So anyway, that's the end of the episode. Thank y'all for joining us. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe to all of our channels. This is this is Braylon. Over there, you got my brother Braylon Lee. I am Queen C with Gigi Nan. Make sure you subscribe to Talk with Solana. And we are out. We will be here next week for the next review of Ready to Love, episode 5. What is it, season 10? Like,
season, I think this is season
9. This is 9. Yeah, we're almost there.
Almost there. Much love, everybody.
Much love. Bye.
Bye.